Just as it was last November, this fight is guaranteed excitement, and Volk, Alex Pereira stepping up to save the day once again.
Oh man, it's incredible to see. You know, obviously everyone appreciates it. You don't have to be a fighter to appreciate someone that will take a fight on short notice like he does. Not only take the fight on short notice, put his title on the line as well. Incredible stuff to see, obviously exciting fight. You know, no Conor on the card, but I think they did a great job by bringing fights like this to this card, because very exciting fights, and I can't wait for it.
Dan, how do you assess this matchup?
Oh, I think it's incredible. I think this is one of those fights that breaks into their mainstream audience because these two guys are larger than life characters. They're not a couple of average fighters. Like they're superhumans. They attract like your average person's attention. Pereira is like the Aztec warrior. Jiri's like the samurai warrior. Like it's an incredible fight. I think it captures a lot of people's imagination and attention.
And it is, of course, a rematch of a fight that took place at UFC 295. So, Volk, what do you think Jiri Prochazka needs to do differently in this fight compared to the last one?
Oh man, look, I think it's going to be the same sort of fight. I think they're both that dangerous. They're both so good at what they do. I think he's going to have to do what he sort of did last time. Obviously, not get caught, but I think because Pereira will take a lot of risks. So will Jiri. I think they're both going to do that anyway, which is obviously good for us, exciting for us. But I don't think he needs to change too much. I think there could be opportunities for him to capitalise on, and I think he's got to still stick to his guns. I think if he tries to wrestle and things like that, I think Pereira's takedown defence has gotten a lot better. I don't think that's the way to go for him. I think him trying to capitalise on opportunities in front of him is the way to go. Obviously, it's dangerous when there's someone like Pereira in front of you, but I still think that's the way to go. What do you reckon? Like, do you think he needs to change much?
I think stylistically, the guns is kind of loaded in Pereira's favour just because of his Jiri's style is that he's real heavy on his front leg. And we know Pereira's got the best calf kick in the absolute world. Jiri will appear closer than he is, so he leans like real heavy on his front leg and he pulls your shots and looks to counter. But with the kryptonite in that style is that you're heavy on your front leg. Pereira, like, can Jiri adjust to Pereira just chopping away with that calf kick? Because I feel like that was the real difference in that first fight and really chipped him away, and he wasn't able to get anything off because his front leg was so compromised.
Yeah, he ended up hurting that leg, didn't he? One thing that about this fight as well, both massive risk takers.
Yeah.
They both fight that fight. Like you said, you'll have a Jiri who will put his head in danger and be happy to try and pull him out of range and then come back in. Pereira doesn't, he literally just puts his whole body, like he'll be in range. I mean, his hips, legs, footwork, everything's like right there. He wants you to throw your punches. He will slip them, your punch goes past and he just catches you coming in. Both very, very risky ways of fighting, very exciting. Works well for both of them, but now they're facing each other. Like last time, I think it's going to be the same sort of fight where it's going to be a lot of fireworks. I think they're both going to hurt each other and then someone gets a knockout. First, second round. I think that's just... It's destined to happen like that again. That's just how I think.
My favourite part about this fight is that both of them refuse to put their hands up. They both have incredible knockout power and they just absolutely disregard putting their hands up. Perfect fight.
Well, then they'll do that to obviously to bait the other guy. You know, look, my hands are down. Here's a shot. Take it, and then try and catch him coming in. But both dangerous guys to do that to. So I just can't see this fight going to a decision, especially 5 rounds.
No way.
There's no way. You know what I mean? So if you're, I don't know, we're allowed to say if you want to bet, gamble responsibly. But if you want to bet this isn't going the decision. You can guarantee that.
Bet the house responsibly.
It certainly didn't go to a decision at UFC 300 and Alex Pereira's incredible knockout over Jamal Hill. We saw your reaction to it, Alex. I mean, how incredible was that?
Yeah, it was. It is a tricky one, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, Jamal Hill obviously wasn't happy with how that went down.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like Pereira cheated in any way or anything like that. It's just I'm all good, move out of the way, let's go, get back to work. Got in his face, which is what Alex Pereira likes to do. Whether he thought that was an opportunity for him to keep composure and, take away a bit of composure from Jamal Hill, which was very clever. Wouldn't surprise me because Alex Pereira is that type of guy that, he'll take whatever edge he can, and he likes to get in people's faces and really get them uncomfortable. And maybe he did use that as a tool to find that shot. I don't know, but it worked. Jamal Hill's not happy about it. I know Jamal Hill wants to get revenge.
I just feel like there's absolutely no argument there. I feel like if you would have kicked him in the nuts and then knocked him out, then there's a pretty solid argument.
100%.
But getting kicked in the nuts and then knocking someone out, I feel like there's absolutely no argument there.
That's what I mean with Jamal Hill. Obviously, he wasn't happy, but I mean, what Pereira did was, we all thought that was legendary. We thought, how good is that? You know, it was good. Obviously, I can see what he means where I was a little thrown off, but there was nothing illegal in it, and it was fair game, 100%.
Yeah.
I can see why you're uncomfortable with what happened.
He didn't want to take the time. That's
100%.
the way to take the time for a penalty. There's no way you can criticise that.
And you want fighters to do that, right? Like, he's like,
Yeah.
You ain't letting the refs get in. You know, when the refs get in the way too
Stay out
much,
of it, mate.
Yeah.
get out of my way. Let me do my work, you know?
Well, I do want to talk about UFC 300 a little bit. So taking a look at our smooth move of the month presented by proper number 12 Irish Whiskey. Jiri Prochazka had a difficult fight against Alexander Rakic, but in true Jiri fashion, he managed to pull off the comeback win.
Mate, we talk about the risk-taking as well.
Yeah.
He's coming off a loss too, and he goes into this fight and takes all the risk in the world, having his head right there. So many shots were pulling just short, where it's like, man, if that landed, that could have been good night. But Jiri did not care and then ends up finding the finish. That's why he's so dangerous, but man, it's a crazy game to play. I don't get it, but I mean, it was impressive. Rakic is no joke, and he goes out there, gets a finish, and now it's got him right back in title contention. Now he's fighting for the title again.
And Dan, you mentioned the difficulty that Jiri Prochazka had with the leg kicks against Alex Pereira. He also struggled against Alexander Rakic with that technique at UFC 300.
It's just his style of fighting, is that he has his hands super low and he leans real heavy on his front leg, and that's why those punches are missing just by millimeters, is because he'll get you to reach, he'll bait you into thinking you're close enough to hit, that you lunge out to try and hit him. He shifts his head out of the way and he cracks you with one of these mega punches that he's got.
And that sort of style, as you mentioned, Alex, is quite risky, but it's yielded him such great success, you know, an incredible record that he has inside the cage, not only in the UFC, but his entire career.
I mean, it's his game. He's good at it. It works for him. And not only that, having that sort of style, look at the opportunities it gives you as well. You come out there and you bring it, the UFC are going to give you some good opportunities. So it's almost a win-win. Obviously, a lot of risk fighting like that, you can get caught, but you can see the fans appreciate it, fighters appreciate it, and the bosses appreciate it. So, you know, and look, it wasn't too long, and he gets an opportunity again. He goes out there and he's fighting for a title, probably because of the style that he fights. So, yeah, it is risky, but it's exciting.
And as you mentioned earlier, no Conor McGregor, but gee, the UFC has done a fantastic job in putting together a fight worthy of UFC 303.
Yeah, man, look at the fights that they bring. Where'd they even come from, you know what I mean? Like, you know, there's obviously, they might have already had this fight planned, the main event, but the co-main and other fights that they bring in, like I said, where did that come from? They somehow pull it together, and this card is still so exciting. So it ain't no Conor McGregor, but now we've got probably a lot more exciting fights on the card now.
We're off to a quick break here on Fox Sports. Stay with us. Right after this, we're going to hear from Powhatan himself. We're back in a moment.